Welcome to the Witness Protection Podcast. Woo woo! I just got off work. I am so tired, but the grind don't stop. So, yes, I have my moo on. Don't be judging me. This is the privacy of my own home. I love doing my podcast at home because I'm in my comfort zone. I can wear what I want to wear. I can do what I want to do. So, with that being said, y'all know we coming for the book. We coming from the book. So, our scripture tonight is going to be from, what did we say the scripture was, Orion?
Proverbs 26, verse 11.
Proverbs 26, verse 11. Can you read it, Orion? And then we'll pull our card for substance to get our conversation started.
Proverbs 26:11. It says, like a dog that returns to his vomit is a fool who repeats his folly.
And I'm going to read my version. Proverbs 26:11. I'm sorry, y'all. I wasn't ready. Proverbs 26:11. There we go. I know where scriptures are. Don't do me. Oh, I almost licked my finger with this tiger balm on my head. Woo, that would have been all bad. Okay. So it says, as a dog returning to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. Okay? So basically it's saying, just like a dog returning to its own vomit, you sit there and you throw something up and then you're going to turn around and lick it. So it says, it compares us to a dog that's throwing up vomit and then going and returning back to his old vomit and throwing it up. And it says, so are we as fools who return to his folly. So returning to the same thing that you've been delivered from, returning to that same relationship that hurt you, that same person who deceived you, that same job that mishandles you, that same family dynamic that, take you for granted. Like, we just keep returning to these same old dead situations and thinking it's going to be a different outcome. Right? So, we are discussing tonight relationships that can truly wear you down, because truth be told, relationships can wear you down if you allow them to. If you give them too much, if you give people too much access to you, you can start to feel weighed down.
Yeah, you really can.
You really can. So before we get started, we're going to our game substance. I like this little game. I'm glad you introduced this. Okay. Oh, you choose. Go ahead.
I'm going to pick a back one. I've never picked a back one before.
Drum roll, please. What's one thing you would say to a person who broke your heart?
Wow.
Woo! What?
What is one thing I would say to a person who broke my heart? That's pretty deep. What is one thing I would say to that person
who broke your heart?
Broke my heart.
What would you say to that person, Ryan? What would you say to that person?
I would say would say I forgave you a long time ago. Not that they need my forgiveness, but I would say that I hope that you heal, that you find peace, that you grow, you mature.
Do we really?
Yeah, I would say that. I would want the best for them. I wouldn't say anything bad about them.
Because why?
Because you want the best. For me personally, I want the best for anyone I come across. I don't want anybody to suffer. Even though there's inside of us that we have the innate nature when we don't have somebody in our life anymore that maybe did us wrong or we had a bad history with.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to suffer. We want them to do bad. But me, I don't want them to do bad. I want the best. I want nothing for the best for them. I hope they achieve and get everything that they want in this life. That's God's will. Yeah. Hopefully they grow as a person, grow even more than they were before they met. Well, I hope they grow. They're more mature than who they are than when they met me. And they just grow as a person. But yeah, I want the best for them. I think guess that's what I would say.
Good. That's a good answer.
Now I know not everybody is mature enough to say those things, but some people wouldn't probably say anything at all to them. Really, I would just say there's no love lost. Honestly, there's no love lost.
I would honestly say the same thing, and I'm actually living that even now. Like, what is one thing you would say to a person who broke your heart? I've actually said this to the person who broke my heart. Like, thank you for making me better. Thank you for preparing me to be phenomenal for the man who God sends my way.
Yeah.
For my husband, who God ordained me to be with. Like, everything that took place between him and I, it was part of the process. Oh, dang, I forgot that. It was part of the process. So, you're right. There is no love. It makes me have a deeper awareness of why things happen the way that they happen. The broken heart was a part of the process. Because had that person not broken my heart, I probably would have continued in a cycle of existing instead of really living. That heartbreak kind of pushed me into self-evaluation, self-awareness, and being accountable for my actions towards myself, as well as my actions of allowing other people to mishandle me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we allow people to mishandle us because we don't want to lose people. And we accept things that we should not accept. We accept behaviors that we should not accept. And this goes all with our topic of tonight of dealing with relationships that weigh you down. We can easily find ourselves in a relationship to where it starts to be overwhelming because we are constantly taking in these toxic conversations, this toxic behavior, these toxic conditions from people. And often we allow people to project what they have going on. And because we probably have known this person, or this person is somebody in our life who's like a big deal in our life, right? Or they may be somebody in leadership that, you know, we're connected to. It might be your spouse. It may even be your kids, your parents. But because we feel this connection to this person, we always turn the blind eye and let people do whatever they want to. When the Bible clearly tells us, don't cast your pearls amongst pigs because they'll trample over them, right? He warns us like, hey, he's a loving God. He truly is. Jesus is love. But Jesus also turned over tables. And Jesus also wiped out cities and humanity.
Yeah.
So if we are created in God's image, why are we allowing people to mishandle us all the time without any accountability and without any awareness as to how this relationship is affecting us?
I truly don't believe we understand God's love for us. Because if we understood God's love for us, then we wouldn't put up with how other people treat us. Because God's love is patient, it's kind.
It doesn't keep record of wrong.
Right. It doesn't boast. It has self-control. It's not easily angered. You know. So once you start to develop the love of God and develop His characteristics, then that's when you'll be able to love yourself. And then that's when you'll be able to know if someone's loving you the proper way.
Wow. Loving you the proper way. Because people can love you, but that doesn't mean that they're loving you the way you need to be loved, the way that you require love.
The way that God requires us to love. Because our way of love, like, we're sinful. So our way of love could be way different than the way that we're really meant to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And love, that word gets used so loosely because people consider like love. Some people consider love as, coddling or, just being there for the person, treating them right, doing the right things, saying the right things.
Mm-hmm.
But even being there in the tough times, that's all great. But there's also a side of love that holds people accountable and wants people to be better. And people consider people who want to push them and want them to be better and not want them to settle in their lives, or when they see they're going on the wrong path and they bring it up to them, they reject it and they think like that person's tripping, or they're like, But a person doesn't love you if he's not pushing you, if he's not trying to get the best out of you.
You said if
whoever.
Oh, okay.
Whoever. Doesn't matter.
So if they're not challenging you to be better, whether you agree or disagree, whether it rubs you the wrong way or if it doesn't,
Yeah.
if a person truly loves you, they're going to see the potential in you, right? They're going to see past your faults and see what God can really do in your life. And they're going to push you to that.
Right. That's how I've always seen people. Anytime I allow somebody into my life, it's because I always seen something more in them than they saw in themselves.
Mm.
And that's what God saw in us when He created humanity. even through all the things of history that the Israelites did, he always saw them more and greater than what they were showing. And that's why he came into the world to show how he wanted everyone to be. He demonstrated it.
So he's like, y'all better than this.
Yeah.
Like, y'all are so much better than this. Y'all could be doing so much more.
He was controversial. He challenged people. He divided people's hearts. He ruffled some feathers. And that's true love. That's, the love that we have in today's age is not love. Right?
It's fabrication.
Yeah.
Because you can't say you love somebody and then, like, love is an action word. You're going to show people you love them. Right? Because I could be mad at you and you know that I still love you based on the way I handle you. Right? Even though we may have gotten into an argument or we might have disagreed in some type of way, you know when somebody truly loves you because their posture won't change towards you.
Right.
It's kind of like, oh, let's agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. But when somebody don't love you, they can say they love you, but if they really don't love you, they're not concerned about your well-being. They can say they are, but are they really? Right? Are they really? Are they really concerned about the well-being?
Yeah. And this is a story in the Bible in John chapter 21 where Jesus had already died, and he reveals himself to the disciples, and approximately he's with them for like 50 days or something along those lines. And he's basically talking to Peter after Peter denied him 3 times, and he went out to where he originally found Peter fishing, and basically this is like the whole scene of it, and this is in John chapter 21, starting at the 15th verse. When they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." He said to him, "Feed my lambs." He said to him a second time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." He said to him, "Tend my sheep." He said to him the third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was grieved because he said to him the third time, "Do you love me?" He said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." He said to him, Feed my sheep. Truly, truly, I say to you, when you were young, you used to dress yourself and walk wherever you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and another will dress you and carry you where you do not want to go. This he said to show what kind of death he was to glorify God. Well, the reason why I read that is because oftentimes we, how can I put this in plain terms? Oftentimes we have to be reminded of what love really is, and it's going out to the ones that we love and reminding them like what the purpose of love is. Meaning Jesus went, even after Simon betrayed him, he went after him, and he told him to go tend to his sheep, to go save his sheep. Basically, he told him to do something that he did for him. And oftentimes we give up on the ones that we love, and we stop pursuing them and going after them.
Wow.
Yeah. we stop pursuing them and going after them, or we stop showing how much they mean to us, how much we actually love them.
Mm.
And Jesus demonstrated that. Him demonstrating that showed us how we ought to love one another.
Yeah.
We say we love our friends or our family, but are we actually pursuing them? You know?
I had a conversation with somebody today, and I asked them, I said, if you truly say you love somebody, like, how are you showing them that you love them? Right? Mm-hmm. We should never just get in the mindset of, oh, they know I love them. No, people don't know that you love them. Because if you love somebody, you're going to remind them. You're going to constantly reassure them of your love for them. Right? Mm-hmm. So, in my Bible, I have these lessons of the heart. I love this Bible. I got it from Atlanta when I went to Women That Are Loose years and years ago. It says, whether it's relationships that are always in conflict or relationships that hold us in our past, there is several types of relationships that you need to identify as liabilities. If left as they are, they have the potential to destroy your family, your career, and life. And it talks about some of the guidelines to confront the relationships that weigh us down. So when we're talking about a relationship being a liability, hey, that's deep. I don't know about you. I don't know about y'all. I don't ever want to be a liability to anybody. If right now, this is coming out the horse's mouth, if you ever feel like I'm a liability in your life, please just discontinue me. Let's just sever the tie, sever the relationship, and let's just chop it up and move on. If I am not an asset to you, if I don't make you better in some type of way, if I don't challenge you, if I don't encourage you, if I don't motivate you, if I'm not pouring something into you that's making you a better person, if I'm in any type of way leading you away from Christ, please remove yourself away from me. You have my permission, not that you need it. But I don't ever want to be a liability to someone. And we really need to start taking evaluation of the people's in our lives. So this is what I do. When I meet people, I be like, who sent you? Who sent you? Because either you're coming into my life to make me better, or you're coming in as a distraction to be a stumbling block for me. So we need to start having those conversations with ourselves about who sent us. Who is sending these people into our lives? Why are you here? And it's funny because the conversation me and you had earlier where you said, Mom, I had a revelation about you. Yeah. When you were just talking about when Jesus told him, go and feed my sheep.
Attend to my sheep.
Attend to my sheep. The way that he did him, right? And you said that the revelation that you received about me was the reason I had been through some things in my life, especially my childhood, the rough childhood I had, was for such a time as this, even with me raising my nephew Terrence, to have that empathy and that awareness that children struggle.
Yeah, that's what Gigi did for you.
Yes.
Dewan and Terry.
Yes. If it was not for my grandmother, me and my brothers would have been in foster care.
Yeah. It wasn't.
I could have been raped. I could have been molested. Anything could have happened to my brothers. Like, did we have the best life? No. But my grandmother always made sure we was taken care of.
Right.
She would never let any hurt or harm intentionally come towards us. So she stepped up. I mean, my grandmother only had 2 kids. And she raised her children. She didn't have to stop her life. She was in her 30s. And she gave up her freedom to raise 3 kids that she did not give birth to. And I think that's why throughout my life, I've always, and me and your sister talked about it when she was on the podcast, I was always opening my door to people who I felt needed my help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you don't have nowhere to live? You could come live with me. Oh, you hungry? Come here, I got some food. It was like that broken bird syndrome where you always feel like you got to come to somebody's rescue because somebody came to mind. But sometimes those relationships weigh you down. And you have to ask yourself, is this person worth it?
Eventually they do weigh you down. Some relationships have expiration dates.
Ooh. Expiration dates.
Some relationships have expiration dates, and it's apparent, like it's obvious that it has an expiration date. But we, for whatever reason, hold on to relationships or have these people in the proximity of people that we're connected to. But we're not connected to them anymore, but they're connected to the people that we're connected to. And sometimes that's not always conducive for your relationships that you have with those people. Right? So you got to know when the time is up, and you definitely know when it's up.
Yeah,
because God is speaking. People talk about the audible voice of God. Like, you don't need the audible voice of God. Literally, he's spoken so many times in this book.
Right.
Talks about how to know if somebody's for you or not. Check their fruit.
Who would you say? Be a fruit inspector?
Be a fruit inspector, yeah.
Yeah.
What are they, how is their character? See what they're doing. But yeah, all that, so many more things, but the main thing is everyone should be a fruit inspector.
Yeah. Because that's how you're going to know.
Yeah, that will save you a lot of trouble in staying in relationships with people that you had an expiration date a long time ago, and that goes for friendships, romantic relationship,
family relationship,
work relationships. Some people stay in a place
because they're comfortable.
Because they're comfortable, but it's expired.
Yeah. So here's some guidelines to confront the relationship that weighs you down. Accept disappointing realities.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've been a victim of that, where I didn't want to accept the reality. I was holding on to what was in my head, how it was in my head. I was holding on to the past, and I wasn't accepting that person or people for who they were right now. I was always seeing people for who they were
who they could be,
yeah. Or I was seeing who they were when I first met them, when we first met each other. I was blind to the fact of who they were right now, how they were acting right now, what they were saying to me right now, how they were moving against me right now, how they treated me right now.
Yeah.
I ignored all that because I was blind, because I wanted them so bad. And
sometimes when we're growing, we want people so desperately to come with us.
Right. That's really where it comes down to. It's like, I have these revelations, I'm growing, and I see that you're just stagnant and basically, to a degree, the same. Yeah, you've changed at some aspects, but like, you still have some things in you that you need to get over.
Right.
you know. And when you're trying to do that and trying to pull them along in a sense, and they're constantly wanting to go their own way, they're constantly, making you feel a certain type of way. You gotta let that go.
You gotta let it go.
You gotta let that go, because at that point they're not worth it. They don't respect you.
Mm.
They don't respect the words that you say. They respect the words of other people more than they do you. So they're literally showing you, disrespecting you. Why are you putting up with that?
Yeah.
And I've been a victim of that, putting up with disrespect.
Me too.
When all I had to do was just let them go.
And all you got to do is see how they treat other people, right?
Exactly.
Because a person, this is what I learned, especially with me and my ex-husband. When you're going through something with somebody, it's easy for you to give your version and you to give your version, right?
Right.
They always say it's your side, it's their side, and then there's the truth.
Yeah.
So it's always easy for somebody to get somebody's version. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the reality of it is, you can feel like, I want to put this in a good way because I don't want it to come out bad. But you can say that me and you separated because you didn't like this about me and I didn't like this about you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you meet somebody else and this person may be jumping through holes and hoops and rainbows to try to make you feel like they're the most wonderful person in the world, but you're still not satisfied with that person. Yeah. So is it the people or is it you?
Yeah, another aspect is,
if you can sit back and you see, because people will make you question yourself at times, like, was it me? Was it my fault? But then when you're not in that situation no more and you see them operating with other people and you like, dang, well, what is she doing to you? Why are you treating her like that? Do she know or do he know?
Part of that is
you in new relationships with people and you are not the person they think you are.
Yeah, let me backtrack a little bit before I answer that. But one, you can't not take responsibility for your side as well, because you have a part to play in it too. You weren't just
you weren't innocent.
You weren't innocent as well, right? So you got to take accountability for that. But to answer your question, wait, what was it again? I had to make sure I clarify that and not just blame shit for one person.
I was saying how you have to come to a reality. You have to accept the disappointing realities of the relationship.
Yes.
The part that you played, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to give our version of what happened.
Yes.
But when it's all said and done, when you're not in that situation no more, and he move on or she moves on, and you see this person doing things to this person,
mm-hmm.
and you realize it couldn't have been me. Okay, I know I did some wrong in the relationship, and maybe this is why we're not together, but what is this that you got going on?
Part of that is just a highlight reel. It's not like what it actually seems. They're just showing you what they want you to see.
You're the representative.
Yeah, they just want. Yeah, it's the representative of what they want everybody on the outside to see. But you don't know like what's going on behind closed doors.
Right.
You really don't.
You may think you do,
but you really don't.
But like, you really don't.
I've heard stories of people that I've had in my life. And they go off and they do their own things. We're not in each other's lives anymore. And I'm hearing they're going through hell from their decisions, from the people they decided to move on with, here, so to speak. And that person that they let into their life is like completely ruined their life because they not gonna say they thought the grass was greener, but like they. First of all, weren't ready to move on.
Yeah,
they they weren't properly healed, so they just let any type of garbage into their lives.
Because it looked good.
Because it looks good. It sounds good. They They said the right things to you. They gave you the right type of. It felt good when you had sex together. You know, whatever the case may be. They hooked you, put a voodoo spell on you. Whatever the case may be.
Yum, 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 yum.
Yeah, whatever.
They saging you up.
Yeah, whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's what they did, and then they went on this journey with this person, and they find out that this person is
not who they really want.
Not who they really want.
And now they in too deep and don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yes,
a lot more than people probably realize.
And that's the reason why I have not got into a relationship. It's almost been a year for me because I know I wasn't healed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not supposed to hop into no relationship after being in a 20-year relationship, 15-year marriage. There's no way I'm supposed to just, I'm supposed to be with somebody. No.
I'm like that too. I'm not a serial dater. Like, if I break up with somebody and we're no longer together, it takes me a long time before I get back out there.
Right.
Like, a long time. I'm talking about, like, years.
But say you were with somebody for a long time, right? Would it be safe to say that you are over this person?
Yeah.
Would it be safe to say that? Or
would it be if you're doing the proper healing?
But if you haven't healed. If we're talking about...
You're not over that person.
We're talking about dealing with relationships that weigh you down. So you might think, okay, if I get out this relationship, maybe the relationship itself wasn't weighing you down. Maybe the way that you were going about the relationship was weighing you down. And you thinking that you get into this new situation and you think it's so much better, but then you realize, like, this ain't even what I really want. It's fun, it's comfortable, it's cool, but I don't really love this person like that.
What you really wanted is to fix your inner issues within yourself, and then potentially work out those issues with that person that you fell out with.
Right.
That's what most people should be doing. Because you hopping from person to person, it's not going to.
Because you're still going to be in the new relationship, or the new job, or the new friendship. Yeah. You know.
You're gonna have those same problems with the next person. If you're not gonna fix them with that person, what makes you think you're not gonna run into the same problems with the next person?
And then the next person don't even really know you.
Not at all.
The next person don't even know you. They're intertwined with a complete stranger. Yeah. Like when you go on an interview, right? And I tell my employees this all the time. You go into an interview, you say all the right things, right? You bring your representative because you know what to say to make you seem appealing, like you fit, like you're going to be an asset to this situation, to this relationship, to this business partnership. The whole time you're a liability. You're dishonest. You're not going to show up to work when you say you're going to. You're going to be late. You're not, you can't be relied on. Yeah. And that's how it is in relationships. Like we put on this mask and we pretend to be somebody to make it look good. And then when the real us really stands up, now we stuck in these heavy relationships. So the biggest thing is self-deceit. Self-deceit is the enemy of our greatness, I believe. Because we deceive our own selves. Like, oh no, I'm happy. Oh yeah, I'm good. The whole time you know you're not good. You know you're not happy at this job. You gotta give yourself a pep talk just to go to work. Because you hate the job in reality, but you love the money. Right?
That's reality.
That's reality. Oh, I don't really love this person. I love what they can do for me.
That's a lot of people's reality.
I love what they can do for me. I love the opportunity that they present, but I don't really love her. I really don't love him. I love what they can do for me.
That's why the world and the dating world is so horrible, because of that mindset. You're literally breaking people's hearts doing that.
Right, playing with people's emotion.
Yeah, and then
saying I love you the whole time. You don't love this person.
Yeah. Because real love, man, like I've like really like I'm a person that if I love someone, I'm gonna love them hard. I'm not gonna give up on them, to a degree.
You're not gonna intentionally hurt that person.
I'm not gonna intentionally. Have I hurt people? Yes, I have. Was it intentional? Absolutely not.
Right. You're not gonna premeditate. Like you're not gonna premeditate hurt. You're not
Right.
gonna do premeditated hurt.
No.
Like, oh, I know this is gonna hurt this person, but it's like I don't feel bad about it. Oh well, they don't know about it. It ain't gonna hurt them. They don't know.
Yeah, that's
not love.
I don't condone that. I don't condone that at all.
Another guideline to confront relationships that weigh us down. For us to stop trying to be everybody's God.
I struggle with that big time. I have in the past. I still struggle with that to a degree now. Because I want people to do well in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
But really, in this past couple of years, I definitely struggle with that. And
like, how have you struggled with that? Because I feel like when we try to become people's God, it's not to where we're like, oh, they're gonna worship me. No. It could be to the fact where they are not good with money.
Hey, listen to me, because I have the answer to fix what you're going through.
Right.
Or at least I feel like I do.
Or I may have the resource to fix the issue. But does God really want us to always intervene like that? If this person is not good with money and we're constantly coming to their rescue, giving them money, are we stopping what God is trying to teach them? Maybe God wants them to struggle to make them better stewards over what he's given them. But if we're constantly jumping in and playing God,
yeah.
Oh, you don't went shopping with your money knowing your rent is due, and now I'm giving you some money towards your rent. I'm playing God.
Yeah.
I'm becoming an idol for you because you're dependent on me instead of dependent on God.
Yeah, that's real.
And I've struggled with that too. So that's why that's one of the biggest things for me. Like, we need to stop trying to be everybody's God. We can definitely offer help. But we don't want to become their source.
Offer it if they want it. They want the help, offer it.
Yeah.
They don't want the help, because I've offered help, my opinion on things, and I've gotten rejected for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's made people not want to talk to me because of it, which is fine. But I usually when we talk again, they tell me, you know what, you were right. And it's not about being right. It's just about like, hey, I was just trying to protect you. I was just trying to.
You're trying to be their savior.
Yeah, because
in a sense.
In a sense, which is not. It's not good. It's not
right.
good at all. I was doing it. I was trying to do it from a point of love and not a point of manipulation or control, which a lot of people think people are doing to them.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that genuinely believe like people are out here to cause harm against them, literally manipulate them.
But there is some people out there that do operate like that.
Yeah, of course.
They're called witches.
Of course. But
witches do exist, by the way, if y'all wondering.
They absolutely do exist.
Witches exist.
Yeah, they do.
There's a difference between helping someone and carrying them. Sometimes when we help people, it can become a hindrance. We can become enablers without even knowing.
Yeah.
We just thinking we helping. We just trying to be there. We just trying to lend a hand. But to some extent, when it goes beyond the point of just helping, it can become a hindrance. It can become an enabling situation.
Yeah.
So we have to be really careful with that.
Why do you think that's bad? What is the outcome of enabling a person? What is the outcome for them?
Stunning their growth.
Yeah.
They will never be able to maximize who they are in God, who they were created to be, if we are constantly enabling them. Our helping becomes a hindrance. And there's a thin line between helping and hindering. I've seen it too many times, especially with my family members. Like, for real. It's crucial. Something that God meant for good. Like, he wants us to be there for our brothers and sisters. He wants us to give to the needy. He wants us to help, right? The enemy will turn that around and make it to something bad. Like, now you're an enabler. Now they don't want no job. Because I can go to mama, I can go to my brother, I can go to my cousin, ask for a few dollars, get what I need, and I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm an enabler now. So now I'm not part of the solution. I'm a part of the problem. We talking about relationships that weigh you down. Another guideline to confront relationships that weigh us down is becoming comfortable with criticism.
Becoming comfortable with criticism.
Yeah. In here it says, when you have determined that a relationship must end, accept the fact that not everyone will be happy with you. So when we decide to end certain relationships, everybody's not going to be happy with your decision. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about every aspect of relationships. When you decide to leave your job that you've been on for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, your boss ain't going to be happy with you.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to agree with what you're doing. Everybody's not going to agree with your decision. You have to be ready for the criticism. You have to be ready for the backlash. Because somebody's not going to be happy. Somebody is not going to be happy with your decision that you're making. When you have to cut ties with somebody, they're not going to be happy. Especially if they're not ready to let go.
Not a mature person's not going to be happy.
Not at all.
But a person who's mature and is going to be...
A person who thought that you would never leave is not going to be happy.
Yeah.
A person that thought they will always have access to you, no matter what, and they see that you are severing this relationship, they're not going to be happy. Because, number one, they're not in control anymore. They are not in control of the situation anymore. It's okay for them to do them all day. But once you make a decision for your own life, and you say, hey, this is not working for me, that could end up being a problem for some people. I seen something by this guy named Dr. He calls himself Dr. Black. But this dude used to be a straight womanizer. He used to be on a reality show. He used to like cheat on his girlfriend all the time. And I don't know if he had an encounter with God or not, but it totally changed his perspective about relationships and the way he treats women. And he started looking at it from a godly perspective. But he said, he made a statement. He said, maturing is realizing you allowed it, and that's why it continued.
Maturing is realizing that you allowed it, and that's why it continued. That sounds like he went through a traumatic experience in a relationship that made him change his life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened to me.
I know what it was, too. This girl was so in love with him, and they're married now, and they have a daughter.
Yeah.
But back then, he didn't appreciate her. And again, he thought that she would always be there. Mm-hmm. He thought that he could play the field. He thought he could cheat. He thought he could do all these things, but he played on the fact of how much she loved him.
Yeah.
He knew how much she loved him. to the point where she was aware that he was messing with other females, but still was like, well, I'm gonna mess with him too. You know what I mean? That ego to where it's like, I ain't gonna let her have him. And he was like, oh, I'm having my cake and eating it too. And then the girl woke up one day and was like, hey, I'm done. And she like truly walked away. And I think that was the turning point where he was like, I'm about to lose like the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, this girl truly loves me.
Yeah.
And these ones I'm out here playing with, they would never do what she's done for me. They would never stick it out with me the way that she's done it for me. And I think the hard reality of him actually losing her, completely losing her, scared him straight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually what it takes. It takes like, because I went through I guess you could say a similar experience, but I always saw women a lot differently than I do now. It's a big womanizer. And, no, true story.
P-game.
True story. And no fault of my own. I was naive. But I had a bad view on relationships and marriage and just women in general. And I saw how my actions, my words, I saw how it affected, the women that I had in my life. And I saw how bad the relationship was going. I saw the damage that I had done, the damage that we had done to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, something has to change. Like, something has to change. I just don't understand what's going wrong. And I finally realized that, like, I was just being utterly disobedient to God.
Mm.
And when you're disobedient to God, especially in the area of relationships, it's not going to go well.
And the way you started off is the way it's going to finish.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened. Started off in lust and it ended in, lust. Right? It ended in pain. It ended in betrayal and deceit. And, nothing that was ever built on God. And then that's when I woke up and I was just like, you know what? Like, even if that person, I'm not even going to worry if that person changes. I need to change. Mm. And then that's what really woke me up. And then, I changed. I feel like, I'm still evolving and still changing. But whenever I, came to grips with that and tried to give that same, talk about that approach with that person didn't receive that. That person wasn't on that level of readying to change. Mm-hmm. And when you're unequally yoked, whoo, it's not gonna work out. Like, you don't think the same, you don't believe the same. You have a different lifestyle than the one that they have a different lifestyle than the one that you're living. Mm-hmm. They don't seem to want to change that lifestyle and change those ways about them.
Like, I don't do clubs.
Yeah, and you have no choice but to drift apart.
Separate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't do clubs. Like, I stopped clubbing so long ago. Like, I'm not the kind of person that be wanting to be outside.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody be like, I'm outside. I ain't trying to be outside. Like, I want to travel. I want to do things, but you're not going to catch me in no club on the weekends.
No.
You're not going to catch me hanging out at the bars, I love a good lounge with a live band.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what something like that was a big thing of me and my ex, is that our lives was just in two separate spots. I don't know if it was the age difference. We 5 years apart. I'm 5 years older than him. But I'm like, at some point, you got to be like, well, maybe somebody else is willing to tolerate that, because I'm not.
You don't want to find just to go back to your analogy, you don't want to find a person at the bar. You don't
No.
want to find a person in the club.
And if you're in a relationship, why do you feel the need to be there?
Exactly. You're literally putting yourself in environments for temptation.
And even if y'all going together, why y'all got to do that together?
Right. What type of fruit is that building in your relationship?
It's just not for me.
Where are you at in the level of maturity in your walk in life to where you feel like to have fun with your significant other, you got to go into an environment that is
half naked people,
yes,
twerking on each other, being seductive and weird.
Yeah, it's enticing. It literally is feeding your flesh.
Yeah.
Which then means you're taking that in with your eyes and, you know, the music and everything. And that's literally influencing you.
Mm-hmm.
Influencing how you go about your relationship, how you're going to treat the other person, how you're going to talk to the other person.
Right.
You know, it's all influence.
Because you know what I've learned about people, women and men. Some people will go for things that look appealing, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's food, whether it's places, people, or things, whatever. Something could look very appealing to you, like, oh, that look good. But once you get it, it's not what you thought it was.
Yeah, it's like the commercials, food commercials. you go and get the food, and it's not what it was disappointing. It did not satisfy what you thought in your mind.
You're like, I done wasted.
Yeah. It's the same thing with relationships with people. It's the same thing.
It's that have you ever heard of the 80-20 rule?
80-20 rule?
Yeah. It's like, of course, anybody you meet will never be 100%, right?
Right.
It's going to be probably 80% of what you require or want or need. And then there's 20% that needs improvement. But some of us, right?
Not 80-20.
And some of us will trade the 80 in for the 20.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I think that is because we are influenced by so many outside things, whether it be our friends, whether it be just what the world say is good, what the world say is popular, what the world say makes you that dude or that female. You know what I mean? Nobody wants the square, right? A female never wants the square, but the square be what's good for you. The square is the provider. The square is the one who wants to spend quality time. The square is the one that's building his household up. The square is the one that's building the future. That dude is the one that looked the part, but in the inside he trash. Or she trash.
And then eventually the trash is going to reveal itself.
It's going to reveal itself. Because guess what? Physical appearance, materialistic things, all of that will fade away. Yeah. I'm at the point in my life, can my husband, I'm saying husband because I'm not operating in boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. I tell everybody, unless I got a ring on my finger, I'm still single. Period. I don't care if we say we is talking. If we not married, I'm single. So at the end of the day, like, it might look good, but I'm looking for a husband. Can he cover me in prayer? Can he see past my outer exterior and know that something is bothering me? Yeah. Can he petition God on my behalf? Is he interceding for me? Is he waking up every day like, what can I do to make her life easier? How can I be an asset to her instead of a liability? Yeah. And I'm not talking about money, because you can have a good job as a woman and he can have a good job as a man. But if one person or the other is not intentionally taking care of you, and I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about taking care of your heart, taking care of your time, taking care of your spirit, honoring you behind your back, not just when they're in front of you. Again, physical could go away. That dude ain't gonna always have the six pack.
Or it's gonna go away. That's why.
Girl can get 3 BBLs, a tummy tuck, and titty job 4 times. Eventually, she ain't. But she could be a witch in the inside.
Yeah.
A straight Jezebel. We've been talking about that spirit.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say it because I got the opportunity, ladies. God is not gonna send you somebody else's husband. That's reality. Men, God is not gonna send you somebody else's wife. So I don't care how you try to spin it. He's not gonna do it. That's not how God operates.
No, he's definitely not in that. And don't claim that he is in that.
Please don't put Jesus' name on that.
He's not.
And the way you got him is the way you're gonna lose him.
Yeah, you will lose him. You will. You will. Sadly.
And you might really have a good intention towards that person, but it's the way it was established. Because if she did it to you, if she did it to hers, or he did it to his, what makes you think that they not going to do it to you? We got to use wisdom, y'all. We got to use wisdom. And the streets call it karma, but the Bible talks about reaping and sowing. That a man sows, that shall he also reap. So whatever seeds you plant, please believe harvest time is coming. Harvest time is coming. So be aware of the decisions you make. And I'm a living testimony. I made some bad choices when I was younger. And I felt the repercussions of them. Sometimes I've been in a situation, I'll be like, oh God, I know where this one came from. Have you ever been in a situation like that? You'd be like, feel like it's reaping season.
Yeah.
It feels like it's reaping season.
I feel it. Honestly, I feel like I feel it harder than most people.
That's because the call that God has on your life. When God truly has a purpose, like his hand is on you, you not getting away with nothing.
I don't. I don't get away with anything.
I don't get away with anything. Soon as I get out of order, boom, he disciplining me off the back.
Yeah.
He don't give me no room to enjoy my sin. Because truth be told, when we was sinning, we was happy sinners.
I was definitely happy.
When I was sinning, I was happy doing it. I didn't feel like it was anything wrong with it. But once the scales fall off your eyes, then your spirit start feeling grieved when you see other people going through it, and they think that you're being nosy. They think that you're being judgmental. They think that you're, you always in their business, but it's just your spirit grieving because you've been there.
Yeah.
And you know the destruction and the way, the path that they are headed.
Yeah, that's where I'm at in my life, where I'm like, I have all this wisdom and knowledge, and I just am in a position where I just want to give it out.
Mm-hmm. And people are not ready to accept it.
Yeah, it's like we're in a time where you're right, people don't want to accept it.
But doesn't the Bible speak about that, right?
Yeah.
In the end days, people are not going to want to hear sound doctrine.
Yeah.
They're going to have itchy ears. So this is God's word manifesting into earthly reality.
I'm trying to find. I don't know if you could. It's in Songs of Solomon, and it talks about not waking love before its time. I've been trying to find it. It's in here somewhere. I just don't know exactly where it is. But yeah, basically, there's a reason why, and it also talks about how it's the little foxes that spoils the vine.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that to give context, what apparently foxes like to go after fig tree trees,
Mm-hmm.
and get seeds or fruits or things of that nature. So basically, it's saying that it's the little things, it's the little compromises, it's the little
Not giving up on what?
don't wake love before it's time.
Don't wake love before it's time.
Mm-hmm. It's in Songs of Solomon somewhere. I just don't remember where. I can't find it. But yeah, it's talking about how it's the little compromises. That's what it was talking about, the foxes.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's sleep. It's okay. We could sleep together. Oh, it's okay.
8 and 4.
Chapter 8.
Verse 4.
Yeah, I adore you, O daughter of Jerusalem, that you not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. Yeah, and that's Solomon talking to his bride, his soon-to-be bride, because this is basically a love story about them dating
Mm-hmm.
and then them getting married. But yeah, that is the reason why you shouldn't wake love before it's time, because when you start to once you have crossed that threshold, now you've made a covenant, with a soul tie covenant, and then after that, I mean, and God, the unique thing about God is He's a man that He can't lie. So literally, He made a covenant with Israel, and anytime they broke that covenant, He made a covenant with Israel that He would be with them.
Mm-hmm.
He would get them out of different situations. He would always be with them if they obeyed Him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obeyed His commandments. And the same thing is with us. Like, when Jesus came, he fulfilled the old law, created a new law, but it doesn't mean we do away with the old law. But anyways, when we step outside of the principles of God and how we're supposed to live our lives, that's when our lives start to take a turn.
Mm-hmm.
Because we woke. It doesn't even have to be romantically, but we woke, in a sense, we woke love before its time. We awakened things before they were meant to happen for us. Because we start to do things out of our own sin nature, and now whether you believe it or not, but now you put curses on yourself. And you're wondering why, if you're a dude and you keep sleeping with all these women, and you wonder why you can't find a stable relationship, because you have a curse on you. You're a woman, you're attracting all these men, you having these men's babies, but they're not wifing you. You're you're attracting these low life men because you put a curse on yourself.
Right.
And you have to literally break those curses. You have to literally break those covenants. Yep. And if you don't, your life is going to continue to go through that cycle.
Spiral.
Yeah, that spiral. You're going to go through infidelity. You're going to go through, you have an abortion. You're going to have infertility problems. You're going to have all these different issues.
Right.
So, yeah, the result of being in intimate relationships that don't serve you is because of, the main reason is because somewhere along the lines you went about that relationship in whatever aspect of a relationship it is, you went about it the wrong way. You went about it not in God's way, how we're supposed to do relationships. And that's in general. You awoken something within that relationship that was contrary to God's nature. And God, like I said, God is not a man, so he should not lie. So when you make a covenant with him, he's going to fulfill that covenant. If you make a covenant with demonic forces, he's not gonna step in because you literally made a covenant. He's gonna allow it to be fulfilled until you decide to allow him to come in and break it.
Yeah, until you ask for his help.
Right. So if you want to not have these type of relationships that don't serve you, if you don't want to attract these type of people, you have to literally break these covenants. And I guarantee that there's a lot of people in this world that have so many covenants that they don't know that they, have put onto themselves without even knowing.
Right. That's true. And there's way to terminate their relationships. Sometimes you don't have to rip off the Band-Aid. You can progressively end a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Regardless, somebody's going to end up hurt.
Yeah. Especially if you don't sit and really talk about the issues.
And be honest.
Yeah.
Be honest with that person. People, stop stringing people along for your benefit.
Yeah, that's
if you know
cool.
You mean this person no earthly good, if you know that you don't see a real future with this person, stop wasting people's time.
Yeah, let them go.
Let them go do them.
Yeah.
It says gradual separation are often the wisest solution. There are some relationships you just have to get out of, but just because you have a cord to cut does not mean it has to be ripped. Dissolving relationships can be stressful for both parties. End them gradually. The cord that binds us may be the frequency of the phone calls or the visits.
Yeah.
We can just gradually decrease them without finding it necessary to formally dissolve a relationship where there has been just a difference of direction but no conflict. If you can, what this is saying, and I had a conversation today with someone regarding this. If you are not happy in this relationship and you're worried about hurting this person's feelings, you're worried about causing harm on this person because you do somewhat care about this person. It says it right here. Gradually stop the phone calls. Gradually stop being available for that person. Gradually stop visiting them. Yeah. And then they will get the picture that, hey, this ain't what he wants. There's ways to end relationships without doing it distastefully.
Yeah.
By being respectful, but still getting your point across. I'm not saying text somebody and be like, hey, I don't want to be with you no more. That's kind of hurtful.
Nah, that's a conversation you should have face to face.
Yeah, you gotta have a conversation. The same way you got into that situation is the same way you can get out of it.
Yeah. There's a lot of cowards in this world that don't do that. You do a text message and leave it at that. Which is
because their intentions wasn't good. What I say earlier in this conversation, who sent you?
Yeah.
Were you ever here for me? Did you ever have good intentions towards me? These are the questions that we need to be asking ourselves. Because you can tell when the relationship is starting to be heavy and it's starting to weigh you down.
Yeah.
You start getting that feeling like, you seeming like you need some distance or you need some space. Yeah.
The biggest key to know if you should have somebody in your life or not, especially I'm talking from a Christian point of view, is just that: are they living in the ways of Christ? That can easily save you a lot of trouble. Real quick. It goes back to that whole unequally yoked thing.
Right.
How can two walk together unless they agree?
Unless they agree.
And that's going to show up real easy, because a person that's not walking the same path as you are, walking alongside you, you're going to have so much clashing, so much controversy, There can be so many problems that you're gonna have to go through with this person, you know, because y'all are not on the same page. Y'all don't see things the same way. Y'all disagree about everything.
Yeah.
That's letting you know that you need to let this go.
That you're unequally yoked.
Yeah.
So we're gonna close this discussion. This was a heavy conversation because this makes you take a lot of self-inventory on your relationships. It makes you really question a whole lot of things, a whole lot of people in your lives. You really have to be a fruit inspector. Like my son tells me all the time, Mom, be a fruit inspector. Can't keep going by what people say. A tongue and a pair of lips will say anything. Yeah. What does the fruit say?
Their actions. What are their actions?
If somebody is dragging somebody's character, integrity to you, you think they won't do it to you?
Yeah. I've literally had individual make me look bad in front of the internet, in front of social media. And then behind closed doors, they're eventually saying how they didn't mean it and things of that nature. But no,
but publicly you tried to shame me.
Yeah, you literally tried to embarrass me in front of the world.
That might, yeah.
When I would
Kevin tried to do that to me in front of his mistress, and it blew up my phone.
Even if you did something to me that we could bleep that out. Even if you did something to me that I didn't agree with, or that really hurt me, I'm not gonna go. The me now is not gonna go to the internet and blast you.
Right.
The me now is just gonna, quite frankly, just leave you alone.
Right? Silence is everything.
Yeah, I don't have to do that because that shows where I'm at as a person. That shows I'm. Yes, I can be hurt, but that just takes it to a whole nother level. That's very toxic.
Do you know there has been people who have hurt me in my life, and I know their deepest secrets, and I have never released. I have never violated.
Yeah.
I could destroy them if I wanted to. I will have people not even answering phone calls from them ever again in life. But that's not my character. That's not who I am.
It's not our place. It's not our place to shame people.
Yeah.
It's not our place to try to.
Vengeance is mine, said the Lord.
Yeah, it's not our place to do that.
Vengeance is mine.
They'll feel it a lot more with God than they ever will with you. They'll feel it a lot more with a non-response with your silence than it would with you saying something.
Yep. Silence is powerful.
They'll feel it a lot more when they don't see your name come across their phone anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see you reaching out. They don't see your loved ones telling you that this person asked about you, wanting to know how you're doing. Your absences can speak louder than any words you could ever say.
That's a good note. That's a good note. Your absence can speak louder for you than any type of retaliation, any type of give back, any type of clap back, any type of pettiness. God will prepare a table in the presence of your enemies.
No, he really will. And honestly,
he's done it.
Yeah.
Plenty of times for me. He's doing it now.
Yeah.
He's doing it now. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I hope that something was said or done that caused you to just see things in a different light. Some relationships, they can weigh you down. They can weigh you down. I know it's hard to sever those ties, those cords, because some of us are connected by soul ties. And you got to pray soul ties off of you. You got to fast and pray and literally want them to be severed. You can say, oh, I'm not trying to be in this relationship no more. I ain't trying to, be intertwined with this person. What are you doing to make that an action? To make that a reality? So this conversation was to get you to thinking, to shift your mindset, to start doing some inventory of the people in your life who you are dealing with, who may be causing you to be in relationships that's weighing you down, whether they be work, whether they be family dynamic, whether it be marriages, whether it be relationships, whatever. These are relationships that can weigh you down. And if it's not an asset, then it's a liability. Facts. We out. Witness Protection Podcast. Go follow me on YouTube. I have my own YouTube page. Go watch an episode, share it, like, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can get our new episodes every Monday and Friday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Let me know what y'all think. Give me some feedback. Any questions, any episodes that you would like to see in the future, let me know. And if God leads me that way, hey, I ain't got a problem with it. Thank y'all. Good night.